right, guys, welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the Indie Suitor YouTube channel. It's your boy JP, and as always, I got my co-host Trav. Trav, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. It's been a good week. We're that much closer to football season. Only a few more episodes of this before we're there. So it is the countdown.
Man, I can't wait to be in season again, especially just because, as most of you guys know, we started this. I think was it after the West Virginia game? Was that the first game that we did?
I think that sounds about right.
Then
We'd have to scroll back, but
yeah, we have to. But it's gonna be fun this year. Obviously, we've announced it before, but we'll have a sponsor for the fall as well. That's gonna be cool. And so just fun things going into the fall. And obviously, you guys know we love talking Sooner football, and what better way to talk Sooner football than when they actually play? We get to analyze what happens, and
it's not all speculation.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to not worrying about we're 8-0, we're 9-0. There's no it's gonna be fine to Lincoln Riley doing what he did, and everybody knows the story. But it was a crazy time.
Fun times led us to where we are today. So
absolutely,
it's all been good. Appreciate you guys early on in the chat. Jimmy, Steven, SBC, Chad, Buford, all you guys. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here.
Yes.
But yeah, how are you? How's the family?
We're hanging in. Amaya's been a little butt lately when it comes to sleep, so she's been kicking our butt, just waking up all the time. She woke up like 5 minutes ago. Actually, I heard her crying in the next room.
Man.
So wifey's on it right now. But as y'all can see, I'm on my Baker Mayfield swag today.
That's right.
In honor of his first day of training camp with the Panthers. Fully expecting to win the job. I know that little video circling of him underthrowing that pass or whatever. I'm like,
there's so many.
You could do that with any quarterback in any camp. Like genuinely, you could really find any low light.
Exactly. We do it to Texas fans. Texas fans do it to us. Like it is what it is. But there's no way he doesn't win the job. The fans wouldn't allow it.
No.
The fans wouldn't allow the excitement of Baker and then just start over with Sam Darnold again. Like, it's just not the case. I tell you what, the comments from Matt Corral were very interesting about Ole Miss, talking about how, if he had to do it all over again, he's not sure if he would have picked Ole Miss. And the question was really about quarterback competition, right? Because he wanted to, they asked him, he's not in this quarterback competition. Like, Matt Corral's not going to win the job. Like, it's just not going to happen. But he was kind of asked how he's going to approach the season. And of course, his response was, well, going into competition, I've never really been in a competition. When I was I picked Ole Miss, because I didn't have to go through competition. Obviously, I was going to go to Ohio State or USC or any of these places. So it's he's like, but I really welcome the competition. It's like, Matt Corral just needs to cool it, because Lane Kiffin all day was asked questions. So Matt Corral says that he shouldn't have gone to Ole Miss. Matt Corral said he shouldn't have gone to Ole Miss. What was going on? And then we got people saying, oh, Matt Corral, what was wrong with Levy? Why, if he had to do it all over again, he wouldn't have gone with Levy? What's going on with that? So, anyways, Matt Corral just needs to cool it, needs to develop, and just wait his turn. But old Crosby, aka Cosby, I guess, from the space, TJ in the house. So always good to have another Travis in here. Again, shout out Brad, Mason, Juan, Loco Mofondo, all these. We got Trap House in the house. So appreciate you guys. Hey man, you know who's got the tomahawks, Buford. You know who's got them. But crazy stuff. How about the Kyler stuff, man? What's up, Drew?
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Kyler went 42-0 in high school. Best Texas high school player ever.
Yep.
Then he wins the Heisman. Then he goes number 1 overall. Then he improves an NFL franchise year after year after year, takes him to the playoffs. Through the halfway season, he's front runner, the MVP.
Yeah.
And you're telling me he did all of this without watching any film? And everybody's saying that's a bad thing? Arizona fans are saying, oh, it's embarrassing. No, absolutely not. Like, I don't know how many Dragon Ball Z fans we got in the house. I'm definitely going to out myself here. But it's like when Goku was training and he had his weighted clothing on. It's like, and he lets that off and they're like, oh my gosh, like he's unlocking a whole new animal, right? That's like if we learned that, Joe Burrow had been not playing with his dominant hand this whole time, and now he's going to start playing with his dominant hand. Or Jameis was blind as a bat, and now he's going to get LASIK. Anything like that. Like if you found out that, whoever Cam knows what's up. Anybody who performs at the highest level, and then you find out that they haven't even been using all of their resources, then it's like, oh wow, this is going to be different. So, anyways, really excited about Kyler's contract. Laughing about the film clause because it's 4 hours a week. That ain't nothing. And everybody says, oh, well, Peyton Manning was a film junkie. Tom Brady is a film junkie. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning can't do what Kyler can do. Kyler throws a gorgeous ball on the run across his body while running like a 4.3 and throwing across his body. It's not that he's trotting out to the side. Kyler is sprinting faster than either of those two humans have ever moved in their lives.
Yep.
Running and throwing dimes. So, like, that's the thing. Like, should he watch more film? Yeah, probably. I don't think anybody would argue that like film would be bad for him to watch. I don't think getting more information about your opponent is ever a bad thing. But when you look at when you look at what he's been able to do without it and the physical traits that he has, I don't think anybody's like, yep, that's Peyton Manning and and Tom Brady, they'd basically be that, but they watch film, so they're better. Like, no way. Get out of here.
Yeah. No, he's at a different level athletically. And, talk show hosts are going to say what they're going to say about it. Ultimately, it wasn't enough of a big deal for them to sign him to a, $400 million contract.
Right.
So.
And that's a great point because I listed all those things. The last part was he got paid. They gave him all that money. Like, if you think there's a problem, you're not going to pay the man $230.5 million. You're just not going to do it. So exactly. it's like, you can hate all you want, but they backed the Brinks truck up for this kid. I say kid. God, he is a kid to me right now. Ooh, yikes. Back the Brinks truck up for this kid. And he still wasn't watching film. What are you mad about? You locked up one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. You know how many times, what I would give to get rid of Kirk Cousins for Kyler Murray? You know what I would do? Oh my goodness. Give him all the money. I'll donate. Like, you can charge me for season tickets. You don't even need to give me seats. Like, that's the thing. It's like there are fans that don't understand how rare it is to lock down a quarterback that is a true franchise guy that gives you an advantage over half the time. When Kyler lines up, or when Kyler goes out there, he is better than what? All but maybe 5 guys in the NFL, maybe. So we can. I don't want to get into rankings or anything, but just for conversation's sake, it's like if you can go into 80% of your games as the Arizona Cardinals and say, we've got the better quarterback today. You're halfway there. You're halfway home.
Yep.
And you've got that now for the next 5 years. That's got to feel so good. You're a Colts fan. How nice would it be to finally lock in a franchise guy as opposed to going around the veteran quarterback carousel that you guys have been going on.
I'm just so upset at Ryan Grigson. That's all I gotta say. He ruined Andrew Luck's career. Andrew Luck should still be playing for the Indianapolis Colts, but he had to go through a lacerated spleen and so many other things.
Yep.
So I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, though,
yeah,
let's go ahead and dive into, and this won't take long because we all know where we're going with this. Matter of fact, before I get into this, thank y'all who are here. Like Trav said earlier, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, make sure you share this page and this specific link. Get people in here. We got our buddy Keegan Renault's space going on right now with Zach Heflin and Eddie Radozovic. So we got a decent amount of people over there. So I'm sure we'll be getting more people in here as that space ends. But just make sure you share. And again, we're always grateful to have you guys be part of the family. That being said, let's talk about the quarterback room for Oklahoma a little bit. As we know, Dylan Gabriel is the guy. Not even close. There's no.
Whoa! Spoiler, bro.
My bad.
No spoiler warning. Sorry, there are going to be spoilers here.
We don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about the whole. They're neck and neck.
It's close.
The competition's close.
It's close.
No, none of that happened. DG's the guy. So Trav, I thought that it'd be cool for you to just kind of speak a little bit to DG, what you've seen from him in the offseason. And if you've been on the channel and the podcast before, you've seen Trav talk about it. But Trav, you spent some personal time with DG. So just tell us a little bit about DG's mindset heading into the season.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to spend some time with him for sure, and it's just, and I'd spent time with Spencer and Caleb as well before, but not as much time as I've spent with Dylan. And I mean, right away, we're meeting obviously about audience rent and really just kind of welcoming him and trying to be in the Orlando media, since it's not like Norman media is primarily to cover OU. Like their Orlando media isn't there specifically to cover UCF. They're covering the Magic. They're covering Disney. They're covering whatever, all of the different things that go on in Orlando. So where Dylan kind of got turned off by the media in the past was people trying to get him in gotcha moments. Starting quarterback said this quote or the other. Like, the media is just so much more friendly in a true college town. So I think early on it was like, hey, we're talking about audience rent. We're doing this, that, and the other. If you ever want to talk radio, like, I'm open to that. Like, but really it's all about, he has invested so much time and money into getting to know his teammates, whether it be his offensive line, whether it be the skill players. We've obviously talked a lot about the dime time retreat. We've talked a lot about even taking the offensive linemen out to the lake, getting a couple of pontoon boats, and doing that whole thing. And it's all been him. It's not been pushed by Levy. I mean, he told Levy he was going to do it. And Levy, after he told him about the dime time retreat, he goes, well, what are you going to do for the big guys? And Dylan was like, I already got that covered. We got some pontoons. I'm taking them all out for breakfast. Like, is what it is. And that's what's really cool is a lot of guys talk about it, but he's really being about it. And what really struck me, I was able to catch up with him over spring break. And I've told the story before, but I mean, he stayed. Obviously, him going back to Hawaii is not really easy in the cards all the time, but he stayed. We stayed, who didn't have to. Obviously, he's from a lot closer than Hawaii, so he could go back if he wanted to. But he's been wanting to stay in town, to practice with the guys, to get more reps in, more and more and more. And I think he understands that he has such a responsibility in the offense because he's the one that knows it. I mean, quarterbacks always have the responsibility, but since he has been in this offense and ran this offense successfully before, he knows what it looks like. It's a lot like it reminds me little bit lesser of a different degree, I'll put it that way, of when Jalen Hurts came to town. Jalen came to town. He knew what championship, mindset and championship teams look like, and he kept on saying after big blowout games, we're not playing well enough. We're not doing a good enough job. Now, some of the times it was him, whether he was pulling the ball down and running or keeping it too much in the zone reads or whatever, but it was that understanding of I've seen what it looks like when it's successful. So I know when it's not that, and we need to continue to change things, whatever. So as far as the quarterback position, we live and die with Dylan, obviously. But I tell you what, General Booty is turning some heads. Booty is snapping some necks, if you will, when they're turning and checking out Booty. Apparently, I mean, he is an absolute winner. He's got good quarterback pedigree. There are high school coaches in Texas that are amazed that we were able to actually add him to the roster and that he's not getting, at least in starting competition elsewhere. He throws a very, very pretty ball. He's picking up the offense extremely quickly. He's a really smart kid. And yeah, the quarterback room is in good shape moving forward because you've got, obviously, if Dylan stays another year, and then you've got Booty, you've got Bevel, you've got Evers, you've got Rucker, you've got all these guys, and it's like you're like, okay, it's not a situation. It's not a situation where we've got Caleb, 5-star top overall quarterback in the class, and then in 2019, and then Caleb, 5-star top quarterback in the class, blah, 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 all this pressure. It's going to be a situation. Well, we don't have Arnold on campus yet, Cam, but anyways, we're in great shape. And then next year, if Dylan stays and maybe we go to the SEC next year, you've got Dylan, an established quarterback. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. So I know that would put him at like 28 years old going into the league or something like that. But he's got 3 years of eligibility left. So he very much can stay if there's a situation where it's announced, hey, we're going to play in the SEC. I would think Levy and Brent would recommend that he stays in order to get some SEC competition and really lead us into that new conference, because I don't think you want to have a first-year starter as your quarterback going into the SEC. Not to say we might not just have to do it and deal with it. I mean, it's really just ideal at this point to have, a multiple year starter as you enter the SEC. Like it just is what it is. And if we don't have that luxury, then we've got studs, we've got studs in the QB room. So JP, what do you think? Give me your thoughts on the QB room.
Yeah, no, I think that everything you said is spot on. I mean, it's probably the most depth we've had. And okay, realistically, obviously, just talking from a perspective of, I know we had Spencer Rattler, Haley Williams. I know we've had Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield when Lincoln was here in quarterback rooms. And that's top heavy, but I'm just talking about like top to bottom. I think this is the most quarterback depth we've had. And that's just because Lincoln didn't recruit quarterbacks, for the most part, back-to-back classes. He would recruit multiple quarterbacks in the same class. And that Levy's obviously taking a different approach. And so, we're going to see more full quarterback rooms. And I think ultimately it's better that way because if, you never know what can happen. Somebody gets injured. You want to have somebody that's quality that can step in and not only carry the mantle, but, maybe even not do better, I will say, but can take us where we want to go and not just say, our season is completely ruined because our quarterback went down. We wouldn't have as much depth as you could have. So I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the other quarterbacks do. Like you said, heard great things about Booty. Nick just needs a little bit more time to grow, which is okay. And, we got Micah and Bevel, just extra depth. And, they'll definitely be there to help bolster everything else. So I think like we talked about, I mean, we know this is not even a conversation of who's doing what, who's going where.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The Nick Evers stuff, like it is good that he is not going to be playing this year. I think what people need to understand is Spencer Rattler, top quarterback in the class. They brought in Jalen Hurts because they did not want Spencer playing his freshman year. He had no. It's not good for freshman quarterbacks to just be thrown into the fire like that.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb gets here freshman year. He should not have played. I know. I was at Texas too. I was just as excited. Everybody freaking out. Oh my God, he saved the day. Blah blah blah. Oh look at him. I mean, it's one of those like, oh, it's cool that he's kind of the star of the show in the center of the security lines, and it looks so cool. Blah 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 blah. And it's like. Then he goes 3-2 in starts with losses against the only two ranked teams he plays, and he has to pull a rabbit out of the hat against Kansas to win that game. So he should not have played his freshman year. And that's the thing. We need to get back into, and I don't know if Trevor Lawrence just ruined it for everybody by winning as a true freshman. Yeah, but it's not. That's not normal. And Tua didn't come in like Tua got put in late.
That's true.
like Tua got put in way late. He did not bear the load the entire season. He went in against a defense that had no clue what his tape was or anything like it. So I think there's a misconception of freshmen playing early or playing immediately. It's not supposed to happen. Quinn Ewers, number one quarterback ranked in history, and couldn't crack the top 3 of the depth chart at Ohio State. And that's fine. That doesn't mean he's a bum.
Yeah.
It just means that freshmen aren't going to supplant CJ Stroud. It's just not going to happen. So going into next year, Nick will have a whole year to grow on the offense. Booty will have a whole year to grow on the offense. And we can't do this to Jackson either when he gets here. Yep. We can't say, okay, next year when Jackson's here, hand him the reins because he's Elite 11 MVP. Stop it. Stop it. So with that, I just wanted to say that about Nick because I don't want Nick getting an unfair shake. Yeah. I don't want Nick getting an unfair shake,
right?
Because it's just it's supposed to happen like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Drew. Not everybody is Adrian Peterson. So
nobody is Adrian Peterson outside of Adrian Peterson. And I'm so sorry. Marcus Major is not Adrian Peterson.
No matter how much we heard that.
No, the worst thing that ever happened to Marcus Major was somebody saying that it was the closest thing to Adrian Peterson somebody had ever seen.
And it was J.D. Reynolds that said that.
Well, I know I wasn't going to say it though.
Oh.
I like J.D. I don't want to throw him under the bus. Yeah, I don't want to throw him under the bus or anything like that. It was just you set those lofty expectations, and when you use those two words, everybody in the fan base is like, "Oh, we remember watching Adrian. This guy's going to put up 225 against Texas. Like it's just this is how it's going to be." Yeah. And it hasn't been that so far. I hope he turns into that in this new offense. I hope that DeMarco unlocks something in him that we haven't quite seen yet, at least on a consistent basis over the last 3 years. So we will see. But I want to get perfect segue. Perfect.
Running back room.
So tell me, what are your thoughts on the running back room early?
Yeah. So I mean, I like Eric Gray a lot. I'm not sure that we got to see him at his best last year. I think he was a lot better in zone running concepts rather than what we were doing with the pulling guard and asking him to be patient instead of putting his foot in the ground. And so Levy uses a lot of different schemes, but lots of zone as well. And so and obviously we know he uses a ton of backs. And so this will be an interesting conversation because Levy's going to use a lot of these guys. And so I mean, early reports are that Eric Gray's opposite at the top. Then you have depending on who you talk to, Javante Barnes and Marcus Major are the 2, 3. And so a lot of people say Javante Barnes. But then there's others who say, well, Marcus Major is going to be more in that power back, change the pace. So I'm interested to see in fall camp. Honestly, I think that's the biggest slot that we're looking at competition wise is that 2, 3 spot. Who's going to take that second spot behind Eric Gray? Because I feel like Eric Gray has pretty much solidified himself to this point. But you have that, and then interested to see how Sawchuck does, as well as Tawee Walker. I think that's another one. And who knows? Tawee could go up into that 3 hole. And again, I think if you're in the top 4 slots of the running back group, you probably have a really good chance of seeing the field in general. Because Levy likes to run the ball a lot, especially in the second half. If we have a lead after we score from far, likes to lean on the rock, have fresh backs, fresh offensive linemen. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the running back group. And I'd probably go Gray, Barnes, Major, and then Tawee.
Okay. So I think there's a couple things when we look at the running back room that we have to consider. Mainly being Levy, right? It's not always a perfect just transfer of, okay, this is how many carries people got in the last offense. This is how many receptions people got in the last offense. This is how fast you went. This is how many first downs you got. Like you can't just crop that out of the Ole Miss stats and then move it and put an OU logo on it and say, okay, that's what we're going to do. Like, I get that, but you can look at it and see tendencies. So one thing looking at Levy's offense last year, you see 4 people with over 100 carries. Now you get that because they had the 11th most rushing attempts in all of college football. If you take out the service academies, who are 1, 2, and 3, then obviously they go up into the top 10. So they are very much run heavy, especially in the second half. He's a score from far and then runs the ball in the second half. I'm going Eric Gray, obvious number 1. I think he was the number 3 all-purpose back coming out of high school. And then but Lincoln Riley forgot that you're allowed to throw the running backs the ball. So, I mean, imagine if you were only allowed to run the ball between the tackles with Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean? If you were only able to do that with a guy like Joe Mixon, like that's kind of the type. And I'm not saying that he's those guys, but that's the style. So you're kneecapping him by not allowing him to catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think adding that element to Eric Gray's arsenal will be huge for him. And then I think it's Javante Barnes at the number 2 spot. I think he's shown our power. That he looks the part, I guess. And again, we talked about starting the freshman, everything like that. I think Eric Gray is your starter. But in the 3 hole, I'm going Tawee Walker. This guy is built to be that second half back. He is built to be the bowling ball that you can just continue to throw down the lane, lean on that defense, lean on that defensive line, and just churn those yards out. I'm a big Tawee Walker guy, and I've got him sitting number 3 right now. But I think Sawchuck gets the ball, I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna go grab another water real quick.
Okay. While I'm just grabbing his water, I have to address this. Weston, this is disrespectful. This is disrespectful, okay? You're talking about the all-time leading rusher in Oklahoma football history, bro. You understand? Like, I don't know what games you're talking about, to be honest, because as far as I'm concerned, P. Ryan, every game P. Ryan was in, he was a beast. Him and Mixon were all the perfect combo. Mixon was a better prospect, always was. But this is what we were talking about earlier, like comparing Marcus Major, Adrian Peterson, it hurt Marcus Major in the long run. Comparing Barnes and Sawchuck and saying that they may be better than P. Ryan, don't do that. We can't do that right now. Because again, that standard is being the all-time leading rusher in Oklahoma history. Okay, let's put some respect on Samaj P. Ryan's name. Let's just do it. I'm not saying you hate Samaj West. I'm just saying that was that I don't know. That hit me the wrong way. Maybe I took it the wrong way, but okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm waiting for Weston to respond if he in here still and what he meant. Because again, let's not forget Samaj P. Ryan is the leading rusher in Oklahoma history. Okay. Matt, the reason that I had Sawchuck so far down the list was mainly because he is late. He just came in this summer. He's behind the eight ball. He hadn't had all the work that Barnes has had, specifically that Towie has had, obviously Gray as well. So that's the only reason. I think Sawchuck will be good moving forward, and major even obviously. But yeah, that's what I kind of feel about it. All right. When Trav comes back, we're gonna hit this defensive back room. You guys go ahead. Oh, there he is. Speaking of the devil. So Trav, I'm just gonna bring this up to you so you can think about it. I had to address something that was in the comment section because what our boy Weston,
I had my pods in. I could hear you.
Oh, you heard it. Okay. I just felt like there was disrespect. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, here's the thing. It's human nature to try and compare somebody to somebody we know. We need a point of reference. That's why when we drive, we like landmarks. We like to compare it to, oh, well, it's same as driving here, same as driving there. It's take something we know and then trying to describe this person. That's why, like, draft comps, everybody's like, oh, well, at whoever's best, they're going to be this player. Like, talk about Chet. They're like, at worst, he's going to be a Porzingis. At best, he's KD or whatever, right? And I don't want to get into a Chet discussion because a lot of y'all sleeping on the man, and I'm not going to take the disrespect from my man Chet Holmgren. Looking at you, Drew. But it's like we need a point of reference. So there's one thing to say, they remind me of, they at their best they could be this, something like that. I think that's different than this person is the closest thing to this person I have ever seen. That's when you're like, okay, this person better take the same trajectory if they're that close to that person. It's dealing with, relating it to somebody. So, hey, if we ever get another duo in the backfield, like Mixon and P. Ryan, sweet. I'll book my playoff tickets right now.
They're legendary. I don't think we realized what we were watching when they were here.
Hopefully we're the 3 seed in the playoffs so we can go to Glendale, because I'm operating under the assumption that Alabama is probably going to be the number 1 seed, and then they will choose to be in Atlanta in the Peach Bowl. So I would rather be the 3 seed so we can go out to Glendale and not be the 4 seed and play Bama in Atlanta. So that's where I'm at on that. But yeah, as far as the finishing touches on the running backs things, I'm glad Dasher brought that up. Not much love for Major. I need to see it. Like, that's just how I am. I really need to see it. I've seen, I've seen guys be recruited over him. I've seen him not be eligible for the season. I've seen him for 3 years here of eligibility that he has not been. I don't think he's been a top 3 back on the depth chart the entire time he's been here. So I hope he blows us out of the water. I hope he does. I don't ever want it to come across as I'm not hoping for that, or I don't want to come out here, later and be like, see, I told you he wasn't going to crack that. Like, I will have no pride in that. That will not be fun. But I need to understand what I guess I'm just not seeing what everybody else is seeing. Because through 3 years of his Oklahoma career, we haven't seen him crack the top 2 or 3 of the depth chart. So now when you look at the depth chart and it's like, okay, we brought in Eric Gray. He's going to be our number 1 running back, depth chart wise. And then you start talking about like Javante Barnes, he's a true freshman. So like if true freshmen are now jumping ahead, and then if Tawi Walker gets the 3rd spot, and like at what point do we say, okay, it might not happen the way we thought it was going to happen? That's all I'm saying. I'm not wishing bad things on him or anything like that. I'm just not seeing what a lot of other people are seeing.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's why we have these discussions. Thanks. If everybody had the same opinion, the show would be 30 seconds long, and it would be the intro.
Thanks. Hey, let's transition over to the defense side of the ball. I will say we mentioned that real quick before we move on to the defense. We did talk about a little bit about the tight ends and the wide receiver group. We talked about Braden Willis, I believe, and the type of year we think he's going to have, Daniel Parker, blocking, etc. Just want to make sure we remind the people that we did hit that because I know we didn't have a specific tight end section. But anyways, moving on to the defense, where we start in the defensive backfield, moving away from the offensive backfield. This is, I think, potentially one of the more intriguing conversations that we can have. Thank you.
Where's mine?
Hey, Body Armor, hoping to get sponsored.
We sponsored it or what?
I'd be like Baker.
Right. Tell them to send us a case, bro.
Right, facts. But no, I think this is one of the more intriguing conversations, Trav. The defensive backfield, we know who is on one side with Woody Washington. I think we mostly know who the safeties are, Keith Lawrence and Billy Bowman. But it's fun to see what they're going to be because we really didn't see them in those positions at all last year.
Right.
And then we don't know who really is going to be at the nickel. Is it going to be Trey Morrison?
Mike Hawkins just received his offer. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
That's wild. So Michael Hawkins, for you, those of you that don't know, his OU legacy. He's a 2024 quarterback in the same class as Van Buren and Lagway, DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway is number 1 on our board. Van Buren, you'd like to think is probably number 2 or 1A, 1B type situation. But Hawkins, he's a good player, and I wasn't sure he'd get his offer, but he just got offered 6 minutes ago. So that's good. He will be playing at Allen this year, of course. Some of you know that as the home of Kyler Murray. So that is interesting. But sorry, back to you. I thought that was newsworthy. So
no, absolutely.
Back to you. So you're saying we were talking about we know who the starters are likely going to be, but talking about the safeties and whatnot. I apologize for cutting you off. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, you're good, bro. It's always good when a kid gets an offer. You love to hear that. Kids work hard and deserves the notoriety. No, we're just on the nickelback. Just really, who is Trey Morrison going to be there? Kenneth Walker? Who would you see there potentially? And then the other, I think, big question is who's going to be opposite Woody Washington? Is that going to be Kenneth Walker? Is that going to be Joshua Eaton? A lot of people say DJ Graham, but I'm not very sold on him being there. I haven't necessarily heard that he locked that spot down either. So yeah, guys in the chat, you guys go ahead and say what you guys think about the defensive back room. Woody Washington is probably going to be one of the better quarters in the Big 12, especially under this defensive style and scheme that Venables is running. I think Woody's going to love it. A lot of people are saying in the chat, Keith Lawrence is going to be a headhunter. I fully believe that. We already saw that last year. He was already one of the most, if not the most physical defensive back on our team last year in speed D. So imagine what he's going to be in this defense. And then Billy Bowman. I mean, we know what type of athlete he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's a special athlete. He looks huge right now.
Yeah, I think with Billy Bowman, you have to get him involved in the return game. I would love to see him return punts. He's got the ball skills. He was incredible in high school as a return specialist, playing offense, defense, return, whatever we could to get the ball in that guy's hands. He is a playmaker. So would love to see that. I like Kenai Walker as your second corner opposite of Woody Washington. I think Woody Washington is going to have a big year if he stays healthy. He'll be the best corner on the team, but Kenai Walker has been fantastic. Depth is always a good thing, and depth is what we have. CJ Colden finally on campus, the transfer from Wyoming. He will have something to say about it, no doubt. Eaton has been there a little bit. Heard really good things about him through the spring. So we're going to have that. I like Kenai over DJ Graham right now. And again, that's nothing against DJ. I just think Kenai has been that good. I think the safety room, yeah. I mean, you've got Key Lawrence, who's a junior, Billy Bowman, who's a sophomore. But you'll have Trey Morrison at nickel, kind of the cheetah position, kind of that Sam linebacker position. Shane Witter, everybody keeps forgetting about that guy. He might be the fastest guy on the team when they talk about it. He was winning all kinds of races, was always the fastest guy on the team at linebacker. So he's a junior this year. Look for him to kind of at least start out in kind of that cheetah role. And then here's a name that you might not have expected in the Sam linebacker, but Clayton Smith. Clayton Smith, Texarkana, former 5-star-ish, depending on what service you looked at. Going to be in that kind of Sam linebacker area, if you will. So again, a lot of depth. Harrington, he says he's going to the NFL after this year. So I heard that he came ready to go. His body looked great. His mental was different. Like we got a whole different, Justin Harrington. So I'm excited about that. I'm not sure where he's going to fall on the depth chart right now, just because he had, he was away from the team for a bit and, was in the transfer portal and this, that, and the other. So, anyways, we've just got a lot of talent back there, but I'm just interested to see who can pick up the defense the quickest is really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. No, it's one of the, like I said, it's one of the more interesting groups on the team, because you do have a lot of talent, and just seeing how it kind of fits together is going to be interesting. I'm excited about next week talking about the linebacker room. I think that's going to be another fascinating conversation. We don't want to get into it too much today, but I think those two groups specifically, the defensive line, I think most people know we have there. Even with transfer, even down, etc. And again, we'll talk about those next week. But the defensive back room has the potential to be good. It really does. They have. We have a lot of guys back there. People might say, "Oh, look at what you were last year, the pass defense." It's like, okay, so first of all, it's a different defense. Second of all, people weren't playing in positions that they were, probably accustomed to playing, like Key or Billy, or just being asked to play different places.
Like, and our defensive coaches have 13 national title appearances combined too. So it's like, and you also have a defensive backs coach that played defensive back. That's important. Yeah. That's important. So, I think the most interesting spot to watch, and I know Cheetah is sexy because it's the Isaiah Simmons position, and it's where Jaron might play. It's where Jaden Rowe might play. It's where, whoever might play. But I am most fascinated by the corner opposite of Woody. That's going to be what I'm watching most closely. I think it's Kenai. A lot of people think it's going to be DJ. Some people have even said Colden. And that's what I'm most interested in because it's an obvious. There's an obvious starter on one side, kind of like Key, Billy. Like those are obvious starters. The only starter in just the base defense like is Venable said Josh Eaton's shining. Like we're gonna have a lot of depth, which is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Really quick, before we move on to our this or that game and then a Q&A, we got Big Recruiting Weekend coming up. Also, Derek LeBlanc tomorrow is committing, choosing between us and Florida. You've heard Trav say on this show many a time, and probably heard from a lot of different people that we are sitting really comfortable with Derek. So fully expect him to be a student tomorrow. But definitely looking for that. But Trav, go ahead and tell us anything you heard about this recruiting weekend. I know I saw a list of a lot of people, a lot of big names that are going to be there. Just tell us what you heard.
Yeah, it's recruits had been telling me at least that they were going to be filming some commitment content for at least one of the players there. So it's an opportunity to where those that haven't announced, you look at guys like we're very comfortable with, like Jacoby Johnson. He won't be announcing as we originally thought he would be on the 29th. But would you keep it down over there? Like he originally was going to, but he's helping out his brother, helping out who's a 2026 kid with his recruitment. Like I'm not concerned about Jacoby Johnson, but it's all about when are they announcing? When are they announcing? When are they announcing? The Caleb Downs commitment was very important to Alabama because that did the old musical chairs with the safeties, and that may have pushed Makari Vickers right into OU's lap. So you've seen some crystal balls go out. I have every reason to believe that Makari Vickers, who is a top 100 player, regardless of position, he will be joining the Sooners. So the real questions everybody wants is Yates coming? Is Peyton Bowen coming? I believe Yates is going to be there. David Hicks is going to be there. You've got a majority. I'm not sure how much of a majority, but a majority of the current commits that are going to be there. And it's always good to get your commits on campus with high profile guys because you can lean on them. They can start to envision themselves in the locker rooms, going out and playing together and everything like that. So with that, the David Hicks visit is really everything. I mean, I'm big on Cecilia Kana. Obviously, he's going to play defensive end. He's listed as a linebacker right now in 247, but he's the top 100 player out of Utah. OU lean. Got to catch up with him. Got to catch up with him at OT7. Not a real talkative guy. This is a guy that will want to kind of wrap things up early for the most part. I think he'll probably announce in August, but early reports that Akana was going to be there. I'm not sure if he still is. I haven't checked it today or yesterday, but early reports was he was going to be there. But yeah, I think, and I'd have to go back and look at the full list, but most importantly, David Hicks. Because if you get the number one defensive tackle in the class, then Bates can have his pick of the litter after that.
Absolutely. Then it's going to be rolling from there. Telling you.
But yeah, here's the thing. So I talked about this on radio. This class will have 26 to 28 people in it. We currently have 17. So if you just look at the leans, and if you include David Hicks in that, you've got Akana, Makari Vickers, Jacoby Johnson, David Hicks, and Anthony Evans, wide receiver, speedy wide receiver, like crazy speedy wide receiver, like runs like a 10-2. But so I don't think I'm missing any of the kind of leans, 4 leans plus a hopeful DJ Hicks. So that's 15. And add Derek LeBlanc if we get him tomorrow. That'd be 6. That'd be 23 kids. We're still taking 4 or 5 more kids. So that's when you start thinking who are going to make up those last few spots, because we saw what happened last year with a guy like R. Mason Thomas. Like you'd never heard his name. Then all of a sudden you got him in the class on signing day. We got a couple commits like that. So Ahmad Moten, we hadn't heard his name, and then boom, late in the class. So Edric Hill right now is an Alabama lean currently. They're going to be very hard to beat. But yes, Hicks, if I were nuts on the table, I would say Hicks is going to end up at OU if I had to pick. I don't know who they say. I don't know who they is or they are, but Texas A&M has been falling back in that recruitment for a lot of the same reasons you've seen a lot of other people from A&M start to kind of question their decision. So here's the thing. What we're going to see happen in the season is this. The teams that have always been all hype, Miami, Texas, even Tennessee this year, A&M, they are going to stumble in the season because they always. A&M is the crystal ball so far, but don't put any stock in that, because there are people that put in crystal balls and then just leave them. There was, heck, Joey or Josh Helmer Joey Helmer before he moved to National 247 had a crystal ball in for like OU to get somebody we weren't even in the running for, because we were in the running for him a year ago and they just never changed it. A lot of people just don't change their crystal balls. So
Yeah.
So you have to look into that. But with that, you have all these teams that are going to falter. Tennessee's going to falter. Alabama's going to get their shit pushed in or Texas is going to get their shit pushed in by Alabama. Miami hasn't had a 10-win season. They've had one 10-win season in the last 18 years. So when you look at that, it's like, okay, these are all highly rated classes right now. When they start to lose, and when OU, with their new coaching staff, starts to look good on the defensive line, starts to look good, in the secondary, starts to look good. Levy's offense is clicking, all that kind of stuff. It's like, when those teams falter, are their recruits going to start looking at Oklahoma and say, ooh, maybe I want to play for them?
Yeah.
So
maybe we'll be over here.
So there's a lot to like about who those 4 or 5 additions might be down the road if we do get like an Edric Hill type situation locked in. Then you would, and again, I'm hoping and praying David Hicks, right? But if you get David Hicks, Edric Hill, PJ Adebawore, Cecilia Kana, and Derek LeBlanc in the same class along your defensive line, that's insane. Absolutely insane. So Hicks or Coleman? Oh, Malachi Coleman. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Malachi ends up leaving Nebraska. I know Parker's got a lot better read on the Nebraska side of things because he's from there, but I still think Malachi Coleman either ends up at probably Nebraska. Heard this at 2:30 already. Well, Chad, thank you for tuning into KREF. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just really interested to see who those 3 or 4 extras are going to be, because they're going to be names that we don't know right now that just come available late because they don't like some, or there's a coaching change or something, right? I mean, we see it happen every year. Look at what happened at OU. We had guys going other places. We had guys like with that, somebody's going to get fired this year. I promise you.
Yep.
Like somebody will. I mean, Harson's going to be out at Auburn. Frost might be out. I think he's probably out. Oh yeah, Gunny. But there's all these coaches that might get fired, and their recruits are going to come open because that's what happens when your coach gets fired.
Yep. Straight up. Nebraska, I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to our fan favorite game, this or that. Got two random ones in here, and then as always, we have food at the end. Trav, what are we eating?
Pizza
tonight? Wings?
Pizza
from Brick Brothers?
I sold that. They're turning it into a cantina.
Oh. So
I'm trying to pivot out of outside of Trey's, I'm trying to pivot out of restaurants.
No, I knew that. I didn't know that they're changing the whole setup though.
Yeah, because the bar in downtown Bixby shut down, so they need a place that like is more bar heavy. So they switched it up, but
okay. All right. So you guys know how it works. Gonna have a prompt up here. We'll choose which one we want. Say why. You guys make sure you say it in the chat. It's always fun to hear who you guys would choose. I'll put it up on here as we go. All right. First one. Sam Bradford, Jason White. Both of them are fully healthy. Which one would you rather have?
I'm going Sam Bradford. I mean,
you want Sam Bradford? Why?
He's a better golfer. He's a better golfer. I think he's got more. I mean, the iconic upside down Bedlam play, the deep ball. His accuracy was insane, and he played for my Vikings. And we should have, when I was watching them in Dallas, he got hit in the helmet afterwards. Nobody called it. We got screwed in the game. Bradford deserved better. Anyways, I'm a big Sam Bradford guy. Got to meet him when he was up here in Tulsa playing golf. That's who I'm with. So, are you going to say? Are you going to be contrarian to try and be on the other side and say Jason White, or are you agreeing? And are we going to let the chat carry the Jason White flag?
Man, if I'm being honest, I remember so much more Sam Bradford than I do Jason White. But I do wonder, if I'm not mistaken, I thought Jason White was actually the better athlete before his injuries than Sam White.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're talking about Sam, they're thinking more like athlete skill, like where it's Sam Bradford was a better golfer. He was a heck of a basketball player, things like that. Whereas like Jason White could do more with his feet on the football field. Kirby.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm going to go Sam Bradford. His accuracy was uncanny. And I mean, he literally led one of the best offenses of all time in 2008. We dropped 77 on Texas A&M's head. Let's not forget about that. So, now this one was a little spicy. This is probably the spiciest question I've ever asked on this podcast.
No.
Be prepared. Patty Gasso or Barry Switzer? I know. I'm a menace.
Man.
I'm interested to see what the chat has to say on this one.
Oh, that's tough.
PG says Switzer.
I mean, it's a football-led school, but oh man, I get it. Like Patty's Patty's had so much success. I think if their success cancels each other out, I think it's got to be Switzer just based on the swagger. Although Patty hasn't. Here's the thing: nobody ever wants to talk about. Patty hasn't been caught up in any cheating scandals. There's some stuff that went on with Barry that it would be a ding against him in this conversation. But yes, football national championships are a little bit different based on what revenue they bring and everything like that. But it's again, he's the king, so it's at worst it could be a tie. At worst it could be a tie. I'm just saying that if you're lining them up against each other, then there are some things that we got in trouble for because of Barry, and we haven't gotten into any trouble because of Patty. So, but the story of Barry walking into the Boz's high school cafeteria with 1,000 kids in there, and he's shouting, "Where's Bosworth? Where's Bosworth?" And he's in a full-length mink coat. He said, "Where's Bosworth?" He holds up his ring and he goes, "I know you want one of these. You're not going to get one at A&M," because Boz was going to A&M at the time. Mm-hmm. And like stuff like that. Like, I'm not sure Patty's going into any cafeterias in high school and saying, "You're not going to get one of these at UCLA." So I can't. That's a spicy one.
That's
a good point. Gasso isn't done. If she could reel off another 3 or something like that, I mean, she could have more titles than the entire football program alone.
I mean, she got 5 right now.
I know.
So, like, right? Or is it 6?
5, I think.
2000
was her first.
2013, 2016, 2017, 2020 is 6. This was the 6th.
This was the 6th. Okay.
So she's got 6. She's almost got as many as we have football-wise. That's why I'm saying, look, and she
built it.
She's built it all.
And she built it.
She's won all the champ. So it's a tough question. It is. Now I understand because college football is king, and so when you talk about impact, yeah. But I mean, pound for pound, though, you really got to look at it because she got 6 now, and she's not stopping. Like,
no signs of slowing down. Yeah, transfer portal Patty is unfair.
Transfer portal Patty is a menace, man. Like, it's not fair. I'm like, what are we doing, dog?
Christian, no, I'm not going to put on the Stormtrooper helmet. I can't. I don't think it's gonna work too well with my AirPods.
Christian never responded to my dance. He challenged me to a dance off, and I added him, but he didn't ever respond. So Christian, I don't know what's up with that, dog, but we gotta figure that out. All right, last one. Food question: ice cream, Bluebell, or Eddie's, or Edie's? Is that how you say it? Edie's.
I think it's Edie's. I'm going Bluebell. Classic. Now they've got a flavor called Cookie Two-Step. Fantastic. I'm not a massive chocolate guy or even a cookie guy or anything like that, but Cookie Two-Step. So it's like cookies. It's like Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
But it's also cookie dough. So it's chocolate chip cookie dough and like Oreo cookies in the same ice cream. Whew.
No, that's one of Kirsten's favorites too.
Oh, it's elite. So, and again, I'm not a big chocolate guy by any means. Not even really a big sweets guy, but that's the best ice cream I've ever had.
Brahms has entered the chat.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Brahms would be unfair. It would win. It would win everything.
It would.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, man. It's fantastic. Christian knows what's up, man. He knows what's up.
That's Kirsten's favorite flavor too, from Bluebell. Believe it or not, I introduced my wife to Bluebell because for a long time up here in the Midwest, Bluebell was not distributed here. It was just in the
What?
South. And so I think like maybe 8 years or so ago, they started finally getting Bluebell up here. I told her, I said, this is the best like store-bought ice cream you will eat. Like, I'm not lying to you. And she was, oh, okay. And here we are. I literally just went and got her. She wanted the oatmeal cream pie one that they just put out. Literally,
Did they have it?
Yeah. Hmm?
Did they have it?
Yes.
How is it?
I'm not a big oatmeal cream pie guy. I mean, I like oatmeal cream pies. I'm not like that big on it. She loves it though. She thinks it's great. So.
Wonder if it's the novelty of it. Is it better than? Is it better than Cookie Two Step?
Absolutely. I don't think so. I have to ask her. I'm gonna ask her when we get off of here. I'll text you. I'll let you know what she says.
Yeah, appreciate that. We're really getting to the bottom of why we're here.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, we're a little bit over on time, and we kind of answer questions as the show has gone on.
We can hit a few. We can hit 3 or 4.
Can we hit a few? Okay, we'll give you 5 extra minutes because we're just kind and compassionate like that. We care about you guys. Appreciate y'all being here. So throw your questions in so that we can get this rolling, and we'll get out of here. Oh, man.
While they type questions, I'm going to see if the stormtrooper helmet, if I can speak in it. So say your questions. Man, I'll make Christian's night.
Christian's gonna lose his mind. Okay, this one is, I think as a coach, Patty is obviously the answer. But when you talk about Bob's loyalty and what he's done for the university, like not only once but twice, I think that becomes a more difficult conversation.
How's the sound? Is it too echoey?
No, that's fine. I mean, it depends. We can ask how people in the chat feel, but you sound fine here. This is the JP and Trevor history. This was anything of your Christian's question.
Oh man. Again, it's a tough pick because it's, Bob was like dad coming home, when Lincoln left us. Bob came back home and kind of patted us all on the head and said, "It's going to be okay, champ," and took care of us. So, and there's something about Bob bringing the program back from the worst period in OU football history and turning it immediately into a champion. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of value in that.
All right, I had to get used to you being in the helmet. I was laughing so hard when you first started talking.
The reason I bought this helmet, the reason I bought this helmet was because during all like the mask mandate stuff, like I had a longer beard, if you guys all recall. So like those paper masks would leave like a line in my beard and it looked horrible. So I was like, I mean, this is way more comfortable than a paper mask. And nobody's going to stop me and be like, "Sir, you need a paper mask." Something like that. Like they're not going to do that. So I bought this and it's been anytime I need a mask. It's been great.
Man. What's the final recruiting ranking that OU gets?
This is going to be super bold, but I'm going with 4. I think we have the 4th ranked class. Part of that is, keep in mind, I think part of that is just based on volume. I think it's going to be, because we saw this with one of Lincoln's classes, right? We only had like 16 people in the class, but they were, really highly ranked players. So it's like with this class, if we add, if we have a 22 person class and we add 6 3-stars to it, like even though that would lower our average recruit, and some 3-star U people might be like, oh, that's not really much of an addition. It will still, every recruit has a point value, so they will raise your class. So you could have 28 kids in the class and vault yourself into the top 3. Let's see.
Any chance LeBlanc commits to Florida last minute? They're dropping a big bag.
No.
I don't see it. Let's see. A couple more here. Oh my gosh. I can't stand Christian. Michael Hawkins or DJ Lagway?
Oh man. If this question is who would I rather have, and I know the worst part about this is somebody's going to record me saying that I'd rather have DJ Lagway, and then Michael Hawkins is going to win us a national championship, and this is going to live on forever. But I've always been a fan of Lagway. Not to say that Hawkins, can't get the job done. I'm excited to watch him at Allen this year. But if both of them called right now and said, "Hey, I'd like to commit," I think Lagway would be the call that I naturally pick up first, personally. He's a bigger body. He's probably got, I don't know, 40 pounds on Hawkins, I think he has. Like he is a tank of a quarterback, almost like a Cardell Jones type. Like he can just take over a game by trucking dudes if you need him to. But he's also got an arm. Baseball player.
That sounds tantalizing. I don't know why. I have to look more into him. All right, I think this is a good one to end on. Yo Factor asks, will Oklahoma surpass 90,000 capacity when we move into the SEC?
I believe you're probably talking about the stadium expansion project that they've been discussing. I think that we are at least 100,000. I think going into the SEC. Now, I'm not a big fan of adding very many seats. I would rather them redo all the concession stands, redo all the bathrooms, put some type of better game day experience type stuff in there. But I do think that there is maybe some unofficial pressure to up the attendance and up the capacity of the stadium from the SEC up to 100,000. So, yeah, I'm thinking 100,000 seems about right for me, because if you look at college football attendance, it's been declining every year for 7 straight years.
Really?
So with the 2019 to 2021 being down 4%, that's massive when you're talking, these type of numbers, these big numbers. So when you extrapolate that out over the next, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years, I mean, are we only going to sell out OU Alabama? Are we only going to sell OU LSU? Because you don't want to build it so big that it doesn't look full for all your games. That's the problem that Lloyd Noble has. Lloyd Noble is way too big, among other things, but Lloyd Noble is just way too big. I mean, you've got other basketball, like Blue Bloods, that have basketball stadiums that hold thousands less.
Duke,
Cameron. And they're packed. Yeah, Cameron's packed. And it's loud and it's a great environment. And it's okay to have less people. If all the people there, the value of the ticket goes up. The people that are there, I want to bring back value to the OU ticket. That's the problem. You've got people that are giving away their tickets on game day. I want people to go, oh man, how were you able to get a ticket to OU LSU? How were you able to get it? I tried so hard, man. Tickets were through the roof. I want every OU game to have the demand of an OU Texas.
Right.
Not just everybody trying to get in for $15. Because here's the thing: you get the people that can just walk in because they can, because they got a $10 ticket. You don't get those people invested. They are not invested in every play. They don't really capture the value of the experience because it's nothing to them. It's $15.
Yep. No, I think you're spot on. You don't want to cheapen the product on the field won't be cheapened, but like you said, the type of fan that you want to attract, and that you want to be invested in there more than just filling seats too.
And so PG show, I'm gonna clarify what I said. I buy season tickets too. I'm not ignorant to the fact that they're expensive. My problem is you pay that $1,200 a year. I bet often if you tried to give them away, you probably couldn't get face value for them. That's the problem. I want the season ticket holders that pay that $1,200 a year to be able to, if they want to, sell their tickets for double that, because that's where the value is. I said that I don't want people getting in for $15 a ticket. That's $1,200 a year is not $15 a ticket. That's not the math on that. That's my concern. Is I want people to value the ticket again, and value and price don't always have to be the same thing. Often they are not. Face value of Texas is not what a lot of people end up paying to go to that game.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is I want people to say, man, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm going to go to all these games.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see. I thought that was a good question to end on. It'll be interesting to see when we go into the SEC, when we get this expansion project, for Josie to officially announce it as he slowly takes it off, to officially announce it, and to see what specifically they're going to be doing. And we already know that turnip seed has all been there. So I'm excited to see where we're going in that direction. But Trav, you got anything?
I'd take my helmet off so I could take a bite of pizza.
So you can finish it. You got anything for the people, dog, before we head out?
I don't think so. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as quick stadium stuff, put in a DJ booth, much like a lot of NFL stadiums have it, but I know the Viking Stadium better than anyone, or better than any other. I should say not better than anyone. I know the Viking Stadium better than I know any other stadium. They have DJ Ski set up in the stadium, mixing and getting the party going pregame from a DJ booth built into the stands. So do something like that. Do something like having a space for game day and big noon kickoff or whatever. And yes, Jet, the person you're thinking of is Tyler Kofer. Tyler Kofer came over from the Las Vegas Knights. Big time game day experience guy, game day production guy. They will be doing a lot of very cool things. If look back at I'm going to give you all homework. It's participation, but it's go to Vegas Golden Knights Seattle Kraken intro video on YouTube. YouTube that, and that's the guy that we brought over. But he's actually from Oklahoma. We brought him back to Oklahoma to do our game day experience. So Vegas Golden Knights Seattle Kraken intro, YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Oh, we appreciate you guys. Yeah, I think we'll have a fun end to July. I'll just say
Yep.
that. So we'll look forward to seeing LeBlanc tomorrow and what the weekend has in store. Obviously, with the under the lights thing that's happened tonight, we've already had some good traction. Sounds like, and so hopefully we just continue that into the weekend. And like Trav said, do that homework, and we'll see you guys back here next week as we talk and go into defensive side of the ball, linebackers, defensive line as we finish off. And that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, next Wednesday we'll be talking about the first day of fall camp as well, which will be exciting.
Yeah, I believe that they start camp on Thursday, don't they?
I think, and that's what I was trying to figure out. I was talking to Brady. You guys remember Brady is the All-American punter that's from Indianapolis. So me and him are going to hang out Friday. Actually, he's coming back for a little bit. I was texting him. I thought he said he had to be back Wednesday. So they may either start Wednesday or Thursday, one of those 2 days. But yeah, so I'm just excited for fall camp to start. I think you guys are too. We're ready for September to get here. And
football. We're ready for football.
Football.
We're ready for talking season to be done.
Absolutely. We don't do that. we allow the folks south of the Red River hashtag Arching On to do that. But
yep, this is their time. Let them shine.
Let them shine. All right, y'all. We appreciate you. Love you all. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Boomer.